Good morning. I'm really looking forward to bringing you principle number 1 in the Success Code principles. And today's principle is be an intentional leader. Be an intentional leader. So what does that mean? Well, that means that you do things very much on purpose instead of kind of flying by the seat of your pants. A lot of times business owners are so busy that they have a hard time with focus and follow through. And so all of the business owners that I interviewed for my book, The Success Code, told me that they very much did things on purpose. It was not scattered at all. So today what I want to bring you is 5 different best practices that can help you be more of an intentional leader. So the first one I want to tell you that they did is they had full clarity of their long-term goals. So those would be their 3 to 5 year goals, both from a personal perspective as well as from a business perspective. So they knew exactly what they wanted their life to look like when they looked 3 to 5 years down the road, and then they knew what their business needed to look like in order to get them there. So that's the first best practice. The next thing they did is they took that vision of what 3 to 5 years down the road was going to look like, and they honed that down into 1-year goals and priorities. So they said, all right, if we're going to be there in 3 to 5 years, what are the goals, specifically the numbers that we want to hit in the different areas of our business? And what will our priorities need to be at the end of this year in order to get us closer to those longer term goals? They also took that a step further, this particular best practice, and they really honed in on this every single 90 to 100 days, and they created a very actionable plan that the whole team then could get involved with and actually execute. So it was a very steps driven with benchmarks, who was going to be responsible, and they boiled it down to that. So that's really the second best practice, is creating longer term and then shorter term goals and action plans that you can follow. The third best practice that they did is they then shared that. Anybody that wasn't involved in the exact bigger business planning process, they shared all those goals company-wide, because if you think about it, it makes total sense. If the team doesn't know where the goal is and they don't know, exactly what you're aiming for, how can they possibly all work together to get you there? So making sure that the entire organization is keenly aware of where you're taking the company is crucial for your success. The fourth best practice is that these teams made sure that they got 80% at least of their projects completed. And quite frankly, when they didn't complete a project, they made it a point of telling me that they were purposefully stopped working on something. So there weren't things that were falling through the cracks. They were actually following through and getting the work done. And that is critical, because that's really what separates those of us. We can dream and wish and set goals, but if we don't do the work and actually finish up the projects to get us there, it's not going to help any. And then the fifth best practice was that they were really good at identifying roadblocks, and then they had discussions around what could they do if those roadblocks came up. So they actually pre-thought through any problems that might happen. So again, identifying roadblocks and then making sure that they knew how to get rid of them. So those are the 5 best practices that you can follow or emulate in order to become a more intentional leader. So here's my challenge for you today. I want you to think about what are you good at, and maybe where can some improvement happen, and then take one small step today toward making that improvement. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.